And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Insight on Business, the News Hour, all made possible by our friends from the Kramer Law Firm of West Des Moines, Mr. B Clothing of Des Moines, FWRSA, tax and accounting professionals here in the city, RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts, and the Warren County Economic Development Corporation. Daniel Ryan worked for the Obama for America campaign back in 2012. For that re-election campaign for President Obama, he was in charge of what he calls the front room of all of the Obama for America items. And he talks about in this great article about what leaders can do to make for an enjoyable workplace. Now, you have to understand that enjoyable doesn't necessarily always mean fun. But here's 4 tips from Dan Ryan about his take from bottom-up management. It's been called bottom-up management, service leadership, all that, those other kinds of things. As you might imagine, the work days at the Obama for America President's re-election campaign back in 2012 were long, with good reason. And it takes a toll on people over that time. Well, his colleague, Daniel Ryan's colleague, Lauren Peterson, came up with the idea of guaranteeing folks 2 nights each week that no matter what, the office for Obama for America would close at 8 o'clock in the evening. They quickly adopted the on-the-team idea and referred to this as their time to do human being things. A few people asked if they could come in at noon instead, and that started to work. So one tip for leaders is to make it at least flexible enough. Ryan says this kind of program only works if it's actually enforced. There's all kinds of reasons to stick around for an extra 30 or 40 minutes after the workday ends. But if you've got people that are on salary and you've got people in your workplace that are working hard, go ahead and institute this idea that you promise, no way is anybody going to work past a certain time of the day, and then stick to it, says Daniel Ryan. Also, take your staff to lunch. I know it sounds obvious, but it's one of those kinds of things that creates some amiability among people in the office. Take them to lunch, have some fun. Enjoy each other's company outside of the cubicle space, and do that maybe once a month, twice a month. Hey, just enjoy your time together. And sometimes those luncheons with staff can turn into otherwise productive meetings. And be accessible. We've all talked about the open door policy. Well, when the boss isn't accessible, all kinds of things start going on, and people don't necessarily know what they're supposed to do nor when they're supposed to do it. When you have an open door policy, it does demand a lot from the leader. The leader's got to be accessible and mean it. And if you can't be accessible all the time, 8 or 10 or 12 hours, whatever amount of time that you're in the office, set aside a time that you are accessible. Anybody can come in with a question and or concern, and make the office lifestyle enjoyable. There's a difference between fun and enjoyable. Enjoyable is one of those things where people come together and they want to go to work. It seems like you can't get a startup started without all kinds of pressures and times and things like that. At the Obama for America campaign, the digital department and front-end team had what they called morale officers. Now get this, folks tasked with making the environment better. Birthdays were especially a good time. One of the morale officers started the tradition of buying crazy hats for Obama for America and then doing this collage of pictures about a theme that the birthday person really enjoyed. All kinds of ways to make the office more enjoyable and have people hang around for a lot longer. Number 1, set a time when people are going to be out of the office, no matter how busy that you are. Also, take the staff to lunch, enjoy some of that personal time, be accessible, and finally, make the office an enjoyable place to live and work. All the tips from our friend Daniel Ryan from the Obama for America campaign. Here's a new study out that says it's by MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, the Sloan School of Management. Professor Catherine Tucker and Professor Amelia Miller of the University of Virginia suggests that when organizations actively manage their social media presence, the main result isn't customer interaction, but staff interaction. So social media for business is a waste of time. That's kind of a rich statement, isn't it? Of the findings, Tucker says firms that have a choice between trying to actively direct the flow of social media conversations, which costs money, or letting those conversations flow organically. In their national study, hospitals that manage their Facebook profiles actively began getting lots more likes from who? Not customers, but from employees. Kind of tells you something a little bit about how perhaps hospitals are managing their social media performance. I mean, for example, how many customers are going to be diving into social media for a hospital? Probably not that many, but it does engage employees, and that could be good. Many employees are already so closely tied to the organization that clients, I thought they were called patients, that employees need to focus with each other from time to time. There's no piece of advice social proponents can't get behind. She notes that it's especially true when dealing with products that are not socially natural. Hospitals are not necessarily socially natural unless it's some of the feel-good stuff. I mean, if you're going in for an appendectomy, you don't plan on that kind of thing. If you're going in for a knee replacement, maybe you do, but who in the heck wants to talk about that outside of your personal connection with your own personal Facebook or Twitter page? At least in hospitals, so the study says from MIT, forget about it. Social media just won't work. All right. When we come back, we've got a piece for you that we've got to show you. This is a mixture of Turkish television, Maxim model Kelly Brooks, and Axe deodorant. Now, you won't see this here in the United States, but you will see it if you happen to watch Turkish television. That's one of our favorite things to do around the office. Back with that story and more when we come back. This is Insight on Business, the News Hour. We'll be right back.
Real Estate Concept Studios. This is Webcast One Live.
When it comes to money and business,